Ken Shamrock. You there, man?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Not much. What are you up to today?
Oh, just chilling out. I got a little workout in, get ready to go work out later this afternoon, and just kind of enjoying life right now.
I checked out the interview you had on MMAfighting.com the other day, and we don't want to cover the same issues. You guys touched bases on quite a few cool things. But the one thing I did want to talk about, could you just tell the story again about getting the fight with James Toney and how it didn't go down?
Well, it was brought to me by some gentlemen from the IFC, and when they approached me about it, I was like, oh, that'd be a pretty cool fight. I think fans would want to see that. Maybe let James Toney wear his shoes since he was going to look like he was on ice out there.
Right.
And just wanted to have some fun with it. It was supposed to happen. James Toney took off to go do a fight, I guess, somewhere in Germany or somewhere out there, Yugoslavia, wherever. And I guess he got his butt handed to him. And, I don't know what happened, man. Nobody's even told me the fight isn't even happening. It's just,
right.
I haven't heard from him. It's been, 2.5 months. Nothing's been said. So I'm pretty sure that James Toney probably got the idea that he probably should hang it up.
One of your greatest rivals is set for his retirement match this summer, Ortiz versus Griffin 3, UFC 148 in Vegas. Can you pick a winner for us in this fight?
Well, it's hard to tell. I think if Tito comes in with the mindset and the training hard and no distractions, I think without a shadow of doubt he wins. He's just a better wrestler. He's got better positioning. He knows the submission game. His stand-up's a little bit questionable, but, if he stays strong with his takedowns and stuff, I think he manhandles Forrest. But, Forrest is those kind of guys that just keeps coming after you, and he's got full of energy. He's decent with his submissions. He's decent with his strikes, but his cardio is really good. So, if Tito comes out and he comes out to put him down on the ground and try to smash him in the ground and finish him, then I think Tito can win the fight, but he's got to come in shape and ready to do that.
You and Tito had an amazing feud in the UFC, probably one of the greatest feuds of all time. How much of the feud was based on real heat between each other, and how much was built up to sell the fights?
Well, I get that answer quite a bit. I don't ever fake anything. I don't build up anything. I mean, the heat was real. There was a lot of anger towards each other, and it was really stemmed back to disrespect.
For sure.
But, I do that with every one of my fights. I find things in people that really bother me, and I pick on it until I get pissed off about it. It just helps me get prepared in the mindset I need to go into a fight. That's just me, and that's just how I prepare.
And the Diaz brothers are the same way. They don't want to fight any of their friends. They need to have a reason to hate someone to fight them. So you're sort of the same way?
Absolutely. I've got to have that. I just can't do it. I bring intensity to the ring, and I bring violence to the ring, and I want to do that when I get into the ring.
Okay, man. So Dana White forced Chuck Liddell pretty much into retirement. What's your opinion of him forcing his fighters into retirement? Should it be his choice or the fighters themselves?
Listen, we have what we call freedom in the United States of America. We've always had that.
Right.
We also have an opportunity for all sexes to be able to do what they want to do. And those are the two things that Dana White basically just says he's not going to follow. In fact, if he spits in the government's face, basically doesn't care what he does or when he does it. He says basically you're going to go into retirement even though you go and get a physical and you pass everything you need to pass to get in the ring and fight. So He's making decisions that he has no business making. He says women will never fight in the UFC. He has no business saying that at all. Because basically what he's saying is that women don't belong in sports or, per se, don't belong in MMA. And, we fought against that for years and years to have a Gestapo step in and tell you what you can and can't do.
Who are some of the guys you like to watch nowadays step into the cage?
I don't follow it much. To be honest, I've got a lot of stuff I'm doing right now, and I haven't really had the opportunity to stop and pay attention to really the landscape of MMA lately. I've got a lot of stuff I'm doing with trying to build up a new organization. I'm also working with troubled youth, trying to get homes together so they have places to live. And then I've got my life story and the documentary. Those are all things that are on the horizon.
For sure, and since you brought that up, let's touch base on this. Talk about the group home project.
Well, we've got some stuff planned in Gerlach, Nevada. We're looking to open a 100-bed facility for girls and a 100-bed facility for boys. And we, because of my background and the youth, my youth was pretty tough. I was in juvenile hall and I was in placement, and I got stabbed and just, all the rough things that went on. But I had somebody, my father now, but he was a group owner at then, basically just turned around and gave me an opportunity and helped me really understand who I was and how to direct my anger into something positive. And then I became a peer counselor and a counselor, and then I basically ran my own group home later on. So I had an opportunity to really understand what he had done for me. And now I have an opportunity at a bigger scale, because of who I am, because of the credibility I have in MMA, that I could turn around and help a lot of troubled youth in situations that they don't want to be in, and I can get them into a situation they do want to be in.
Okay, what about this motivational speaking?
I don't know. I guess I just been kind of gifted with the gift of gab. I've done a few of them. I've been around and I've done some motivational speaking, and I've been told that, I'm a natural and I do very well at it. And so I just thought, it's something that I'm doing with the boys and girls, the troubled youth. It's something that I'm doing with basically my own community and even with my own friends and family, and just, keep people motivated and staying on track. And, when things go bad, you just got to kind of rough them out, and, things will get better. You just got to have patience and you got to have faith. So, I've so far been very successful at doing that and doing motivational speaking. That done it on a large scale, done it on a small scale, and I've always had really great feedback from it. So I'm taking it to the next level where I'm going to hire an agency to take over my business and basically book me to different places for motivational speaking. We'll see how it goes.
Hey, man, we threw out some questions on Twitter, seeing if anyone wanted to ask you some questions. We got a great response. So these are all questions from the fans. This question comes from Joe Bose, and it says, who was your toughest fight, and have you ever been injured early in a fight and still won? If so, what was the injury you had to fight through?
Well, for one, it's Joe, right? Joe's the one that's asking the question. So
yeah,
it was pretty tough. My hardest fight, it's hard to say because we went bare knuckle, no rules, no time limit for the longest period of time, and then I fought over in Japan for a long period of time, and ever since after my first fight, I fought fourth on the card of my first fight, and then after that, even in Japan up until the recent fights, I've either been main event or semi-main event, nothing less than that. So all the opponents that I had to face were all proven and all tough, and to pick just one out would be really difficult for me because there were just so many different types of styles. And,
sure.
And there was a lot of different ways that they were tough for me. So that would be a hard one to answer. But as far as injuries go, there were several of them. And there's a lot of time people really don't realize some of the things that I did go through. I broke my neck when I was in high school as a wrestler. And, and I had, spinal problems all through my career, trying to keep my spine straight, doing physical therapy, doing chiropractic work. But on top of that, I had broken my hand after I had gone in the first UFC, and I was coming back for a rematch with Royce. I broke my hand in training. Now, when I broke my hand, it kind of, calcium built up, and it really didn't heal very well. I went in to fight Brian Johnston in the tournament, the Ultimate Tournament, and I remember I had him up against the fence, and I was punching him with my right hand, and I ended up breaking my right hand. And I remember the announcers, when I switched hands, I put my forearm on his throat, and I started punching with my left hand. And I remember the announcer said, well, he stopped punching with his right hand, and he must have injured his right hand. And they were right on about that because I broke my hand, and I couldn't come out and fight Tank the next time around. One of the other ones was, it was several times, Rich Franklin. I had actually popped my knee out after I had surgery on it, and we were warming up the night before. And I remember I was trying to do a roundhouse kick with some pads, and my knee gave out, and it swelled up. So the next day going in the fight, I had a bad knee, which, you know, as I go on, you know, you'll hear a lot of that. With Tito Ortiz, the second time I fought him, I basically had blown out my ACL, and I needed to have it recovered, but I couldn't do that. I had to wait and do the fight. Then my shoulder, where I had a shoulder replacement, and that one was the one before the third fight with Tito. I had my shoulder resurfaced, and I still went in and fought. So probably the last part of my career when I fought Tito Ortiz the first time, from that point on, every time I went into the ring to fight, I either had a knee problem with the ACL replacement, or I had the shoulder problem with the shoulder replacement.
This is another question we got. Do you feel like the sport that you have helped build has turned its back on you? If he could do anything over in his career, what would it be?
Well, I mean, I think that anybody, if they could go back in their lives and make things right or do things over, we all could do that, you know.
For sure.
I mean, we could all go back and make things and change things.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that's not who we are and what we're about. We have to live by our decisions, and hopefully they were decisions that were made strictly to make things better or to help somebody. And all the decisions that I have ever made was either one, to protect myself or to protect my family. And so, I could go back and I could probably say a lot of things that I would have changed, but even if I went back in time, I'm not sure I would have had an opportunity to even change them with the situations that I was in. I don't like the way they ended up with, but they did. That's just the way it is. So, no, I can't really say I would go back and make changes. Would I like to? Yes. But would I, if I had the opportunity, with what I know now, with having people the way they are, how is it going to make anything different? If I go back and I lay down, or if I make some changes because maybe I hurt somebody or did this because I was trying to do the right thing, then maybe things don't work out for me. You know, that's just the way life is, man. We've got to live by our decisions. And all the decisions I ever made were usually the one to protect my well-being or protect my family's well-being. You know, it wasn't selfish. Wasn't trying to hurt anybody, and that's just how I live my life. And, you know, unfortunately, I don't believe that the MMA world has turned their back on me. I believe that partially some of them have turned their back on me, but those are the ones that I can never, ever change their minds anyways. They're going to do what they're going to want to do anyways. I have to live by who I am and what I've accomplished. I know in my mind and my heart, my family knows it, my true fans know it, and those are the ones that really matter to me, are the ones that care about me as a person.
I don't want to harp on pro wrestling too much, but what if you wouldn't have gone to pro wrestling? Do you think your career would have changed at all?
No, I think pro wrestling was good. In fact, I think that the MMA world was should have been very happy that I went into pro wrestling, even though I know there were some of them that thought I sold out and this and that. But it was my decision. It was my life to live, and I had a family to support. So when I went in there and I did that, and I came back to the MMA world, people didn't realize there was other people. When Tito was on top and the Fertittas bought the organization, they were getting ready to shut down because they couldn't do more than 40,000 buys with Tito Ortiz as their champion. Mm-hmm. When I came into the very first fight with Tito, we did over 150,000 buys, and then 600,000 buys after that, and then over 1 million after that. So I really contribute that to the mainstream market, that I was able to go in and people get to find out who I was and what I was about, and then come back into the MMA world, and I brought a lot of those fans with me.
Okay, man, one last question. I have the name game next for you. Give me your thoughts when I mention a name. Guy Mezger.
Tough.
Dan Severn.
Oh, I don't know. I guess Freddy Krueger.
Vince McMahon.
Wow. Lethal.
Okay, Chuck Liddell.
Explosive.
Rich Ace Franklin.
A good dude.
Kimbo Slice.
Fake.
And finally, Frank Shamrock.
Traitor.
Okay, well, man, we appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything you want to promote on the show?
No. Actually, hopefully we get an opportunity when some of these things start going. We've got a lot of really good things starting to come about, so hopefully when they do, we'll get back on the show and we'll be able to promote them.
Thanks for taking the time out for us.
Listen, I appreciate you guys having me on. Have a blessed day.
Okay, you too. Bye.